Welcome back to San Diego, people. Today we're honoring National Military Appreciation Month here in San Diego. There's a large military presence, we know that. They make a big difference in our community. And joining me today to talk more about this is Ensign Amy Forsythe. Amy, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
There's a lot of aspects to military life that affect San Diego. One of the things is the Guard and the Reserves. There are a lot of people who serve active and then come out and they've gotten their taste of it, but they want to stay involved, but they want to go on with their lives. And it's really important to have the employer support that, isn't it?
It certainly is. For myself, I spent 8 years on active duty, and then I transitioned into the reserves. And I always wanted to stay with the military. I did just want to go on and get my education and use the skills that the Marines taught me and parlay that into a career. But I'm very lucky that my employers for the past 10 years have been so supportive of my deployments, continued deployments. And so for those folks in the Guard and Reserve, San Diego has so many employers that have just been supportive throughout the years. And so I think it's a great place to, if you want to transition into the reserves, if you stayed in the area, that we really have to appreciate those employers who recognize that that service is important, especially now more than ever.
Many people, when they're young, they go in the military. It's the first time they've ever had really structure in their life, and it becomes their life for the period of time that they are in uniform. But then they transition out into what I call real life afterwards, and there are jobs and there's family issues and all kinds of things, and that transition sometimes is a challenge for some people, but I know the military is standing right behind them even once they take the uniform off, isn't it?
Well, another great thing about San Diego is that there are so many programs and organizations here ready to help make that transition, whether you want to go to school or get a job or somehow learn more about what you're about and how your family can make that transition. There's great organizations here to do that. And so I would encourage anyone to seek help, get that transition counseling before you leave, because once you leave and you go back home, you might not have access to it. And so make the transition a smooth one for you. There's great organizations out there to help.
And because the military is here, of course, we have a lot of federal dollars coming in supporting veterans as well, whether it be in education or medical support or psychological support for veterans. That money is flowing into San Diego as well because, again, this tends to be one of those places where there are just so many military people.
Sure. So many of the people who get out and work at those programs who can guide people in the right direction are veterans themselves. So they really have your vested interest and really want to see you succeed. We all want veterans to leave active duty, leave the reserves, retire, and go on to great success in their life. And that really is a pillar of success for the military because people see how successful they are. It recruits new kids to come into the military, and so it's a continuing cycle of coming in and showing how the military can be a stepping stone to something bigger.
For many families, the military is part of their lives here in San Diego, but for other families, they're not touched by it. They are here, their lives really are not military related. But they see the uniforms, they see the homecomings. We air them all the time here on KUSI. We see the kisses, we see the families, but they've never really met someone in uniform. And we were talking briefly during the commercial break about meeting people in uniform. And for some reason, for some people, the uniform is the block. That's a person in uniform. I can't talk to them. On the other hand, that's really should be the invite, shouldn't it? For someone to say, thank you, come on up and talk to people who are in uniform and understand what they're all about.
Sure, a nice thank you and a handshake from someone means the world to a service member. So there are great events around the county, such as the Oceanside Harbor Days, and Camp Pendleton Marines come out there with their equipment and personnel. People can go enjoy that, or the Miramar Air Show every year, and thousands, tens of thousands of people come out to enjoy that. So if you see a military member, give them a big thanks, and I'm sure that people out there want to just extend a handshake to them.
All right. Well, thank you for your service. I appreciate it. It's going to be a fun week for everyone, for the entire community. In fact, we're going to be celebrating it too here at KUSI. We have a series of special reports that are going to be airing on KUSI, the news at 6, 10, and on Good Morning San Diego. And those reports are going to look at all the different aspects of military life here in San Diego. We hope you tune in for those. Those are going to be very interesting as well. And if you see someone in uniform, not just this week, but particularly this week, go up, shake their hand, say thank you. We do appreciate the military here in San Diego. That's it for this morning's edition of San Diego People. Join us tonight for the KUSI News at 6, 10, and 11, and please enjoy the rest of your weekend.